Hello, John.
Whatever.
And today we have some very, very good news. The government has announced that they're going to open a new national park down in the Kerry Peninsula. It's going to be 70,000 acres. It's the largest in the country. We have covered the park, one of my favorite places in Ireland before, which is Letterkenny, which is 40,000 acres. This new park is going to have 70,000 acres. If anybody wants to see the video that we done on Glenveigh National Park, there's a link in the description of this video. Okay, so as I say, this new park is going to have 40,000 acres in the Kerry Peninsula. It's West Kerry. It was bought from an Irish American, Michael Noonan is his name, for a price of 6 million euros. And the government has also bought adjacent waterways of 8 kilometers with 9 lakes, which is absolutely amazing. And that's been acquired separately. So that's the situation. It's very, very good news.
It is good news, and it's great news for Kerry, which gets visitors, and it'll get a lot of visitors now because of this um, Turkey Dew peninsula near Dingle in County Kerry, which is a tourist town in its own right. I was in it many a time, and it's a new national park, 70,000 acres, considered the biggest in the country, and one of the biggest, probably outside Europe. United States has big parks, so I mean that's a huge country. But that's great news. And then of course, yeah, you have an area covered by the sea, and the sea breeze is so healthy for anyone visiting. And of course, rare birds. And um, so it was a good price at what it's got, at not an exorbitant price, 6 million. So such a great amenity, and of course they'll be having and of course then they've Skellig Michael, have that as well, and some islands off the Kerry coast. So it'll be a great amenity for that place. That's Skellig Michael, where there was monks, and it must have been a very tough place to be in a monk, and how they managed to get their food over and what have you all those centuries ago is a great it's a great story. And and I love the Irish names attached to it. Um, Now, the state has done good work there, and this Mr. Noonan is the Minister for State, and then Derek O'Brien is the minister responsible for that type of thing as well. So he'll be involved, and they'll have a management committee or a management situation with local people because they'll be very familiar with it. And the fact is that somebody owned all this. Whoever owned it, we don't know at this stage. But what 70,000 acres and plus more, with all these lakes and birds and rare birds and all the rest of it. It's a great amenity, and I think because of the size of the park and the sea, which is a very healthy place to be, and between the Great Light there, because the next port of call is the United States, and quite frankly, it will attract a lot of visitors, I would think, from all over the world. And the main problem, as far as I'd see it, is to make sure the hotels don't overcharge. That'd be one thing that I'd be that if I was the government, I'd be making sure that that was not allowed to happen. And also in France, there's hotels run by the Cork family, from budget hotels, Formula One, ETAP, up to expensive hotels. So I would think that the government or whoever's involved should contact those people and see if they would open these budget hotels in this country, especially in scenic places, so that people will be able to have a budget hotel. And they do, they're very good. I've stayed in them in France, and I couldn't recommend them more because they're very within anybody's budget. A double room for around 40 euros. And if you want a breakfast, it's usually about 6 euros, which is just cereal and that type of thing. Nothing fancy, but you have all this facilities. So that'd be one group that I would hope to attract. And it could also be in cities, because we have very expensive hotels in all the cities in this country, Dublin, Limerick, Cork, and Galway, and all these places, because they're charging far too much. There's one or two hotels in Dublin owned by the Colgan family, Luke and Spa, and another one in Chapel Isn't. And they are very good at their prices. They don't uh, charge as much as the hotels in Dublin. You'd pay about 300-400 for just bed and breakfast in some of them. And these are ordinary hotels. There's nothing special about them. So these are the things that would, with this great amenity in Kerry, that the hotels don't lose the run of themselves in Dingle and all these places, and just charge reasonable prices.
Yeah, so Michael Noonan, the person who sold it to the government, is a Chicago native. His grandparents hailed from Galbally in Limerick. Initially, he was asking for 10 million for it. He said that when you factor in the 33% capital gains tax, he says he's not getting a whole lot out of it really. But so he sold it for a good price to the government of 6 million. I think it's really, really good. And I think what's really, really important here as well, the timing that they were able to buy the 8 kilometers of waterway with the 9 lakes, or 8 or 9 lakes. So it's very, very good. It's a fantastic amenity for County Kerry.
It is, and of course, it attracts anybody from this country to visit, and people from abroad, because of the natural environment and the rare birds, and the sea air, and perhaps unusual nature. It really is superior to anything, because often parks are landscaped and this, that, and the other, and they're kind of nice, but there's a certain amount of artificial um, staff and all the rest of it. And I think it'll obviously give employment to people in that area, and which is a good thing, and guides and people that will be able to inform visitors, to explain about it, and that would be knowledgeable about the great gifts in that area. With the wide Atlantic, and the light must be very good there. Great for anybody that's an artist to be able to perhaps paint in that area. So it has every sort of attraction for visitors from this country and visitors from all over, to my way of thinking. And if it's not advertised, but just promoted in some way as being such a natural amenity, it's better than any park, I think, in the country, from the point of view of the nature and the natural habitat, and the lovely Irish names that have a lovely ring to them. My
Absolutely.
way of
And the
thinking.
thing about it is, I mean, it's 70,000 acres. It's probably more organic than anything else in the country, which is very, very good for in terms of like if they were to set up maybe, and I'm getting a little bit ambitious here, but if they were to set up some kind of like horticultural college like they have in the Botanic Gardens, they could be studying all these different natural
That's right.
natural habitats,
Yeah. Aye, well, as I say, there's great opportunities there, and just people, local people, probably hopefully employed, that will be knowledgeable about the area, and the American family that owned this. Their ancestors were from here, and not too far, and obviously they must have known that area. So that was a quite a great gain. It was. I don't think it was known that such an area was owned by a family in the United States of Irish descent. So they have to be honoured, and perhaps a statue to them, to sort of the fact that it went at a reasonable price. Because don't forget, things in Dublin cost a fortune, and to think that you can get 70,000 acres with such a natural amenity for 6 million, and maybe they helped them with that they didn't have to pay this capital gains tax. But if it's in the United States, their tax situation is desperate. They're very high over there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like this land, obviously, I mean, was destined to fall into the right hands. The right hands, meaning that, this man done his best, obviously, Michael Noonan done his best to make sure that the government would have it. And that's fantastic. I'm delighted with it. It's really good news.
It's good news, and it's great news, because it's such an amenity and such Kerry has all that nature can provide. We've got the lakes of Killarney, in which songs were sung for many years, and all the amenities that it possesses by way of the parks near Killarney and all the rest of it, and all the lovely scenery around. If you go for a drive around the country, around the mountains there, you're just spectacular views. So it has been very well provided with nature, and it has the people are friendly. That I've been down there many a time, and I encountered nothing but friendliness. I
I
love it.
think I think it would be nice also as well. I mean, me, myself, and yourself, we're always trying to encourage philanthropy in Ireland. We have covered it before, but we were talking about the railroad man. What's his name again? Carnegie. Remember
Yeah.
we were
Oh
talking about
yes, yeah.
Carnegie. So I hope with Michael Noonan, I hope they have some kind of commemoration for him eventually in that area, so that they can remember him, that as a
Right,
man
exactly, because
who done the right thing.
fortunately it was of Irish descent, and they have still a grave, as we call it, for the country, and are not once they're trying to maximise their profit, and the fact that they come from that general area, they would have been Irish orientated. You've got people sometimes that were born in this country, but they were from some other kind of class, and they didn't have any love for the country. But a lot of these people that went to the United States still have it, and we've 30 million descendants in the United States, like the ones that went, and their families, and their lovely names. Even in New York, Cardinal Timothy Dolan is proud of his Irish ancestry. He's the cardinal there in New York, and we had cardinals, or Cardinal O'Connor. You couldn't ask for better. So it is great pride in the United States for our Irish people that went there during tough times and rose up, thanks be to God, and have done quite well, and are a good, great asset, a great credit to the country, to my way of thinking. And there should be a memorial for that, Mr. Noonan. He's a gentleman of the first order.
Well, he's still alive, so we will hang on, hang, hang on to the idea of the memorial for the moment. But if they put up something for him in the future, and at some stage, it would be nice, we always have to
Oh,
encourage
well, I
people
say
to
they
do that,
should, yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
So there we go.
and a nice memorial. The same as there's a great statue now in Killarney, and it was long overdue for that marvellous um, uh, Monsignor Hugh O'Flaherty, the great um, priest in the Vatican during the Second World War, that rescued over 5,000 Jewish people and prisoners of war and all the rest of it, and managed to get safe houses here, there, and yonder. It was marvellous. And a great statue to him down in Killarney. I had the pleasure of visiting it and taking some photographs.
Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you very much, Oliver.